All right, ladies, gentlemen, gamers of all kinds, welcome back to patch 1014 notes for League of Legends. So, I'm wet, I'm naked, I feel like the horny is about to hit, and I haven't eaten dinner. All these things will still not stop me from producing a patch notes video. So, we're back here with the usual. We're going to see the patch notes, give our opinions, probably complain that Riot has no clue what they're doing, and review the skins a little bit. And hopefully this goes by quick so I can clothe myself, eat, and, not be wet. Now, I made some new League videos on my youtube.com/Tecnics channel, which I don't even know where else you'd be viewing this, so check my other videos, and you'll see the new League news of the new 4-patch event with Yone, Yasuo's brother, becoming a champion, coming back from the dead, maybe, a new legendary Thresh skin, which we don't need, and a lot more. So, what do we have here? The June Gloom, Gainichta. Everyone in my house is going to bed now. And I'm just, fucking getting started. The June gloom has come and gone, and here we are with sunny skies and 1014. There was basically no June gloom. It was COVID gloom. Alistar, Kha'Zix, Sedge. Oh, wow, they're touching up the people no one plays. Adding extra dash of spice and shadow to Dashing Assassin. Oh, Zed buffs? And with a ferocious fighter and her blade. Oh, okay. Interesting. Trundle and Varus are getting nerfed. I wouldn't really see Varus. I haven't seen Varus that much, honestly. Trundle, definitely. I see Trundle to no end, but Varus, that's a little surprising. A bloody beast from the belly of Bilgewater. Okay, so they're buffing Tom. Last but not least, the patch highlight and image we used to summarize the biggest changes in the patch. Okay. So it looks like a lot of nonsense is going to happen here. My main hope, because I feel like they actually did good with this, my main hope is that they don't touch Volibear. Volibear, I feel, is super fun. I feel he's going to get nerfed. I know it in the back of my mind. He's going to get nerfed. Because I see him all the time in pro play. And ironically enough, some of the teams that play him kind of just insta-lose sometimes. So I don't think it's Volibear. But the presence of him getting picked is probably what's going to get him nerfed. And I really don't like that. I think he's in a super good spot. And I really like him. I think he honestly falls off late. But not that hard. But he definitely is does a little dip in the late game. But again, not too bad. Patch highlights. We don't need those. We're going to be talking about those. But they do show the skins. Fuck. Wow, this is so much shittier. Excuse me. This is so much shittier than the previous thing they had. This is so small. I have to get glasses to see this. This is actually kind of shit. So, the skins. We have the Arcanist skins, which you can barely even fucking read. Which are Kog'Maw, which I have strong opinions about. Conqueror Nautilus, Arcanist Zoe Prestige, Arcanist Shaco, very random. Infernal Karthus, Vel'Koz, and Kennen. So, what do I think? Well, obviously I'll start with the AD, because that's my specialty. I think Kog'Maw skin, Arcanist Kog'Maw, is a poor man's Hextech skin. It has almost the same color and effects as Hextech. Yeah, it's a little different. But it basically fills the same niche as Hextech. It's the poor man's fucking Hextech. If you can't afford that, you get this. Not a bad skin, but I would say Hextech's a little better. Conqueror Not. I haven't seen it. It's probably okay. I don't expect it to be actually good at all. I think it's probably a little ass, honestly, but that's Conqueror Not. Those are all the Conqueror skins for the most part. Arcanist Zoe. Pretty decent skin, actually. I kind of like it. Arcanist Zoe Prestige. Generally, Prestige skins are pretty good. Zoe's no exception. I mean, not the strongest Prestige skin. I still stick by my idea that the strongest Prestige skin is probably Prestige Aatrox. But not a bad one. And then we get to Arcanist Shaco. I feel this skin is so fucking random. I've actually not seen it so I can't really give my opinions on it, but it would have to do a lot to beat Darkstar in my eyes, because I think Darkstar is Shaco's best skin. Is it a good skin? Yeah. Will Arcanist be better? I don't know. It has a lot to live up to if it wants to be Darkstar. And then we get to a fucking random skin line I didn't expect to see. Infernal. Generally these Infernal skins are okay. I think Infernal Karthus is probably his best skin. It does share some visuals with, I would say, Pentakill. Vel'Koz, pretty decent, but not that good. They had to, like, kind of buff the skin over and over again because it was kind of shit. And then Infernal Kennen, I think Infernal Kennen is his best skin, honestly. I don't really know of a better Kennen skin. Blood Moon is pretty good, but Infernal would be good too. Blood Moon is like red, which contrasts with the blue, and this is, you know, obviously orange, which contrasts kind of with the blue. It's pretty good. I think they're all okay skins. I mean, probably could have done better, but you know, we're going into the 4-patch fucking mega event with Spirit whatever, which I'm assuming is the Demon Slayer inspired skins, which I have strong opinions about, but we'll get to that in 2 weeks. So, moving on to the changes. Alistor. What do I think Alistor? Decent. I mean, you pick him when you really just want to be a tank and do a ton of CC, engage, disengage, peel. He's definitely for certain people. It's like if you really just want to be a fucking meat tank, you go Alistar. That being said, is he strong? No. Is he weak? I would say he's a little on the weaker side. I would expect to see buffs, honestly. I think he just CCs and then you forget about him. If anything, I would want to see his cooldown touched because I think his whole power is CCing. He literally does like almost no damage and nothing else. So, and he's not doing that good because he only CCs and it's kind of long for him to do a combo. So let's see what they're doing. Q cooldown decreased. Wow, I was right on the mark. Strengthening this mighty Minotaur's disruption and extended fights by giving him more opportunities to use his fearsome cock. So the cooldown's going down by 3 and then by 2 later on. This is pretty good. A little quality of life change. Hopefully this helps him do his combo a lot more. But it doesn't really do anything to really make Alistar out of control. I see it as more... It's definitely above a quality of life change, but it's not good enough to be like a dramatic or impactful change, I would say. But this is still pretty good. Pretty good Alistar change. Needed as well. Ezreal. What do I think is Ezreal? I think Ezreal, because there's like... I mean, I haven't played League in a bit. Okay, let me make a confession. Because there's no event, I haven't been playing League. And apparently there's no event with this new skin line either. The new event's going to be next patch with the new Yasuo skin. And the Thresh Legendary, good lord. So this is going to be another 2 weeks I probably don't play League. But as far as I remember, Ezreal was kind of like a mid to high pick ADC. Like he was not bad. He was pretty decent, bordering on pretty good. So honestly, I would expect to see nerfs from him. Now, I think they need to nerf his power and or scaling a bit. Because Ezreal is always traditionally a really safe ADC. But he scales super fucking well. Not as well into the late game, but still pretty decent for what you get with him, which is just like a ton of safety and really good poke. Just not really consistent damage as much as other ADs, but to just spike as hard as he does with Mana Moon mid-game, it's like you don't really need it. So they need to like curve, I think, some of his scalings or some of his like base power maybe. Make his like early to mid a little weaker. So what are they saying? Ezreal is a bit too safe in lane and in mid and late game skirmishes for the amount of damage he puts out. Wow, I hit it right on the head again. So reducing his ability to continuously evade attackers. Okay, that's a different route. We're bringing up his cooldown, but not a lot. Okay, I mean, you do have to remember, his E does get, like, cooldowned by the Q. Wow, it's 25 seconds. I didn't even fucking realize that. Damn, I'm really waiting to get, like, the new Ezreal skin, the Academia one. Because that skin is fucking nice. I think it's better than Pulsefire, honestly. But, damn. It's 25 fucking seconds. And they're buffing it, or they're nerfing it, excuse me, to 28. So it's a difference of 3 seconds. This doesn't make a big deal. It's like, what, 1, 2 Qs? I think 2 Qs, actually. This makes 2 Qs difference without cooldown. It's like, with cooldown, it'll probably be better. This is fine. I think they'd need to nerf him a little bit more, though. I think Ezreal might still be annoying to go against. Karthus. I don't even need to look at this, and I don't even need to say anything. I know Karthus is getting buffed because he's getting a skin. So what are they doing? Well, actually, before I even see what they're doing, I think Karthus is a little weak. Base health and movement speed increased. Okay. He is pretty squishy. I don't know about the move speed, though. Q damage increased. Wow. Damage to monsters decreased. They don't like him, jungle. E mana restore is now always active. Wait, what? Oh, you don't need to level it yet. Wait, that helps his early so much. AoE damage tick rate per second increase. That's super good. I feel like Karthus' E takes so long to actually apply the damage. It's like, it feels really shitty. So if they just make it tick for like at a higher rate and do less damage, it essentially ends up being the same thing but feeling a lot better. I'm not going to read this whole fucking thing. His base health goes up by like less than what one auto than equals, so that's kind of useless. The move speed is actually pretty significant. The move speed is pretty significant. Like 25 to 35, especially for someone like Karthus who's immobile, that's really, really good. His Q, 125, it's going up by 5. But it's getting a 0.5 addition to its scaling. I mean, Karthus' main thing, right, is the damage output he could lay out with his Q, being the cooldown it is. And if you get a solo person with the Q, it actually starts melting people, especially with the W on them that shreds MR. Karthus is deceptively strong. He just has a super high skill cap, and he's a very unsafe champion because you have to utilize the passive, obviously. So buffing his Q is a very scary thing. I think this will actually help him get to be in a pretty good and usable state, ironically enough. And they're reducing it to monsters because, like, I guess they don't like him jungle. Karthus' main issue is his early to mid game. After that, he's like an animal monster, like mid to late. He's really good. He scales extremely hard. He's just not always fun to fight. I think Karthus is like pretty not fun sometimes. Okay, so the E. The mana restore is always on. Again, this really helps his early levels. Super good. And the tick rate is 1 time per second, which felt horrible, to 4 times per second. But the damage and cost are the same, which is fine. And then deactivating Defile deals 1 tick worth of damage. So actually, you could eke out like damage at a higher rate by technicality. Because if you put out Defile for 1 second, you then get 1/4 an extra second of damage. So that is kind of like a tiny, tiny, tiny little buff. Overall, really good Karthus changes, ironically enough. I think this is super fucking good for him. Helps his early, helps his mid to late. Everything like is pretty touched up for Karthus. Will this be enough? I think so, actually. I think this is a pretty decent change. Kha'Zix. If you pick Kha'Zix or if you pick Nidalee in my game, you're trolling me. Go fuck yourself. They're useless champions. You don't do shit. Unless you get fed and then you're taking away kills from a team that will actually do something with it. What are they doing? They better not nerf him. I doubt they'll nerf him, but they better not nerf him. He's so garbage. Isolated target bonus damage increased. I better be for the Q. The Q is 100 to 120. Yeah, the main problem is he's so fucking weak. Like, his whole thing is, oh, he has to find you and you have to be alone. That's so rare to do. Unless it's very early on in the game or someone's just being stupid or a split pusher. Even then, you lose to most split pushers. They'll just beat your fucking head in. So it's like, his whole thematic is cool, but it doesn't work in game. And hopefully this pushes it to work in game. Will it? No. Does it help? Hell yeah. It's a 20% fucking buff. That's big. But again, it has to be on isolated targets, which is like kind of the whole issue. I would say to make this fucking viable and feasible, to actually be scared of Kha'Zix, make it 150. Make it 150, call it a day. I think that then he'll be fucking good and a force to be reckoned with when you're alone. You'll actually be fearful of his thematic. But yeah, this is good, but I don't think it'll change anything. Holy shit, what the fuck is this paragraph? I didn't realize I was still in school. I didn't realize I didn't graduate college. So, what do I think of Pyke? I think Pyke's kind of in a shit spot. I mean, he's still good, but he's definitely kind of like a shell of what he was. So, I think we're going to see buffs, but I do believe we could have the possibility of seeing nerfs, but my bet is with buffs. So let's see what they're doing. Okay, they're nerfing him, buffing the Q, buffing the W, buffing the E. Okay. So they don't like him mid lane. That's basically what they're doing. So technically this is still a buff. Just nerfing, like, his mid. He's getting too much leeway for diving all around enemies. Mid pike is also far for a KO. Okay. To curb these advantages, bumping his armor scaling down from the literal best in class to a notch below. See, that's kind of scary, because the way Pike is and the way he scales just health and armor wise, it's a little weird to do that, because he can't gain health, so he kind of relies on armor to be, like, tanky. So, I mean, my main thing would be, like, oh, if you don't like a mid, just, like, buff his armor growth, which they nerfed, but nerf his base armor. He doesn't have to be the greatest early game. Just make him, like, scale back to where he was. I don't understand this change they're doing. Magic resist growth is lessened, which makes sense. You're in the mid lane. A lot of mages. Armor growth is lessened. That hurts his bot lane, honestly, which is what they didn't want, I guess, but I don't know. The Q cost is lessened. It scales up. That's good. Cooldown is lessened early, which is decent. Base damage is up by 10. Okay, I mean, decent. Oh, the W got nerfed. Okay, so that's kind of a nerf. And then Phantom Undertow got kind of buffed by like 10. Yeah, I mean, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. These are just straight nerfs. It makes Pyke worse. I think Pyke was already pretty shitty in the bot lane. This honestly does not help his bot lane, and it just nerfs him in both positions. It does not help him at all. The base damage does not fucking matter. Pyke is just worse. And I don't like him. I think he's ass. Riven. Riven's getting a skin soon, so she needs to get buffed. And she's not really that good anyway. Passive bonus damage increased. Due to current meta builds that simply don't align with Riven's playstyle, her depth and breadth has been suffering. She's feeling a bit exiled. Yeah, I'm actually glad I haven't seen Riven. God, she was the bane of Season 4 and 5 for me. Her and Fiora. Essence Reaver Youmuu's and Bloodthirst over the current tankier metas. Yeah, I hate tank Riven. God, that shit's so stupid. Even though it's the best one. So the bonus damage is 30 to 60. That's actually a pretty fucking huge buff. And crits and lifesteal apply to that damage. That's actually insane. Riven, I felt, was always like the high skill cap top laner. Like, if you're good at Riven, back in the day, the thing was, oh, you know how to animation cancel Riven's autos, and you know how to, like, do trades, you basically just win top lane. Doesn't matter who you're against. Because Riven had something no one else had. She had a dash, and the dash gave her a shield, which was insane. And her cooldowns were fucking bonkers. But now it's like a lot of just insane people have come out, and people that will just, like, mop the floor with her, too. Ornn, Nasus, it's like, even Darius, I think, at some points. Unless the Riven's really fucking good, aka your box. So it's really good to see these buffs. I actually would like to see Riven again on my team. I think she's a really fun and interesting champion. Similar to Yasuo in a way. But it's just she kind of just fell out of grace, or just has people that are better than her. Or just shit on her. So these are good. Changes don't do a lot, but decent changes. I don't think it'll change much, but it definitely helps. Sedge. This person is almost not used at all, so they have to buff her. E base damage increased, frost cooldown on stunned enemy champions decreased, and constant at all levels. Okay. Let's see. So this base damage is up by 15. That's okay. And then the frost cooldown. Stunned enemy champions cannot gain frost for 10. Cannot gain frost for 8 seconds. That's actually super good early. You can actually maybe get the second stun off if the enemy, like, lives and you're pulling off a gank and they're super pushed up. It's actually super fucking good. It increases Sejuani's utility, which is the main thing you play with her. You want to be like a tank and bring utility and have engage. Similar to Zac, just kind of different. I don't know what the difference between her and Zac is. I guess hers is more single targeted and Zac's is more AoE in a way. So definitely good Sedge buffs. I don't think this will really do much for her. She's not really meta right now. Trundle. Okay, this guy's obviously getting fucking nerfed. He's been rampant in pro play, and while he is fun and he's good, The problem with Trundle is like his kit's so simple. If he's good, he's too good, and it's really easy to put him down. Like his kit is super fucking simple. So W bonus attack speed decreased early. Really? That's what they're choosing to hit. 47, 40. They actually rounded it out fine, and it's the same later. This is honestly fine. It hurts his damage a little bit. I mean, I think the biggest uniqueness about Trundle is his ulti and his Q. Yeah, his E is the little pillar, and it's fine for setting up ganks and shit. His W is okay, especially for healing with his passive. But the Q is so good for fucking dueling, it's insane. Like, I'm surprised more people don't go Trundle top. The Q not only steals AD from the enemy, but also gives you AD as well. And it's not like you gain as much as you steal. You gain a flat amount and you steal a flat amount. And they're mutually exclusive. So it's like, he's really good for fucking brawling, especially early. So hurting his early game, but not touching the Q, I feel is okay. I feel like this doesn't hurt Trundle too bad, and he's still actually pretty playable. In fact, I don't even know if this really does anything. But it probably hurts his brawling potential, but he's still a really good fucking brawler. So that's fine. Varus, again, like I said in the beginning, I don't understand how Varus is like that good to where they need to nerf him. He's probably going to get nerfed. I don't imagine him getting buffed, which is a very like strange thing to say, because I remember Varus was so fucking bad. He was the joke of the AD role, to the point where he just got Omega buffed, like constant buff, every single patch, until he was actually good and people used him. But it took a long ass time for him to get to the point where he is. And I'm kind of scared, like, I don't feel he's good enough to warrant nerfs, but I don't feel like he's bad enough to, like, warrant buffs. I actually think he's in, like, an okay spot. But let's see how crazy they go with these nerfs. So, Q maximum bonus damage ratio now scales, okay? E base damage decreased early, okay? What does that mean? So 150 bonus to 145 total AD is always 60p, okay? Wait, so it scales with level. Okay, this definitely hurts his early game. I mean, Varus had a pretty decent early game. The biggest thing with Varus is his range. Varus's range is, like, kind of what sets him apart from other ADs. He has, if I remember correctly, 575. So he outranges almost all ADs except Ashe, Tristana when she scales, Kog'Maw when he scales. Ashe, Tristana, Kog. And I think that's about it. I don't count Senna. So it's like, he can actually trade pretty effectively if you're like a good, if you're good at like keeping range. His Q does a shit ton of damage, especially if you single target hit them with it. It's insane how much damage it does. Huge scaling too. And then the E is basically like free poke tool. So I would actually agree with touching the E. The Q, I don't know. I feel like because it's such a hard skill shot to land sometimes, even though it's really not. It's a decently hard skill shot. I mean, taking off 5% is fine, and making it scale is fine. Actually, no, these are fine. I mean, I don't think he should be that good early, because he scales super fucking well. He's like a better Lucian, because not only does he have the range, he has the burst and engage to back it up. He's honestly just the better fucking Lucian. You want to be a lane bully and scale well into like mid to late game? Pick Varus. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say. And they're nerfing the E, which I think is fine. The E is just like free poke, and that's kind of like stupid. Okay, Volibear. God damn it, I wish they didn't touch him. I know he's gonna get nerfed. He's played too much. Again, my opinions, I think he's super fucking fun, and I don't want him to get touched. I think he's actually in a pretty good spot, and it's okay for some champions to be strong. I don't think he's obnoxiously strong. Yeah, his early's okay, but that's only into melees who extendedly fight him. If you poke him down, he's really like, he suffers a lot. They're lowering his attack speed. That's actually pretty interesting. And reduced by 50% on minions and monsters. They don't like him jungling. Will this hurt his jungle? Yeah, a little bit, but he'll still be a jungler, I think. But I like him top. I think he's a better top laner. He's super fucking fun, though. These are pretty, like, decent. I think these nerfs are fine. Just don't touch him anymore. Wukong. I've seen him a lot in LCS too. I don't necessarily think he's strong. He was definitely over-tuned to all hell when he came out. And I think that was because they actually didn't know what the fuck they even wanted him to do, and his kit is so incohesive and just like jumbled with so many different ideas. They had to just straight overtune him for him to like be fun. They can't just make like a rework, not know what they're doing with the rework, and then show they don't know what they're doing. So they just fucking overbuffed him, and then they put him back in line. I actually think he's in an okay spot, but he's really good with that double knock-up. Honestly, all they needed to do was that, the double fucking knock-up, and they would have been fine. The double knock-up and the passive change. Everything else they did is kind of fucking useless in my opinion. Except maybe the clone change. That was more quality of life, though. So, he's on the stronger side. Yeah, I would say so. They have to hurt the R, I think. Which they are. Okay, nice. They're hurting the knock-up duration, too. I would agree with that. Because you could knock them up twice, it doesn't need to be that fucking long. This is actually fine. I think this definitely turns down Wukong, but he's already in a, like, decently weak position. Weak in the sense that he doesn't need to get smacked with the stick again. And then we have Zed. Oh boy, this should round it out. It does round it out. Zed is pretty fucking weak. He's pretty cool. Again, he was another one when I started playing League. Like, if you were a good Zed, you could fucking carry. And I really am sad that Zed can't carry, because, like, Zed is super cool, and it's like, he's super high skill cap, too. A lot of the high skill cap champions are super fun and super fucking cool. And they've all gotten nerfed because people were too good at them. So what are they doing? The W missile speed is increased. That's actually a huge buff. That the W comes out faster. That means you could technically hit Q easier, because the shadow will travel faster to it. To like where you put it. And the cooldown's going down. That's super good. W's like, you know, everything that Zed uses to either set up, do damage, get in, get out, mobility, damage, anything. So buffing, like, I would say one of the very core parts of his kit is a super good way to get him in. I would say they could have buffed it more, though. This helps, but I think he needed a little bit more of a push. So, those champion changes. Let's move on to the runes. Predator. I don't know what the fuck they, like, were expecting to do with Predator. I don't know if it got stronger and weaker. Again, I haven't played League in a bit. But, again, this seems like kind of one of the things similar to Wukong, where it's like, okay, it's not good. Only certain people use it for very certain situations, aka there's no other rune that's good on them, or they like to engage. They don't even use it for the fucking damage, honestly. They use it for the engage. The damage is a nice plus. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like they don't know what the fuck to do with Predator either. And like Wukong, when it first came out, it sucked ass, so they're buffing it. Until they overbuff it, then have to nerf it. So, what are they doing? Damage growth, 40 to 120. That's a pretty good buff, especially for later in the game. That goes up a lot. And then the cooldown is 90 to 60. That's super good, too. Just straight up buffs. I don't know if this will make Predator good, but Predator I still think is a very niche thing. Okay, and I guess following the trend of movement speed, Ghost. I think Ghost is still pretty fucking weak. Again, if you have a summoner spell that just gives move speed and ghosting, which allows you to move through minions, I feel like it's like, it needs to be super fucking powerful or just be on a fucking ridiculously low cooldown. So, what are they going to do? I think it's super weak, though. Ended up being a small nerf with this increased cooldown, so we're following up with a buff to... So, they're upping the movement speed from 24 to 48. I mean, that's decent, but again, I think Ghost is one of the, like, simplest spells, but, like, the most lackluster. It really should either do more or be more powerful. Like, this shit should be 50 fucking %. And maybe last for, like, 6 seconds. But be on, like, a 50 or a minute cooldown, I would say. That'd be pretty fucking cool. I mean, it does have the problem of running into snowballing effects, but I think we sometimes need that. So, Ghost could be better. Basically what I'm getting. Conqueror Clash. We're running a special one-weekend clash from July 11 to 12 with extra prizes for the premium tickets. So, for all of you free Stevens out there, this basically does nothing. Because you have to pay for the premium ticket. But Clash is coming back, so that's fucking cool. Bug fixes, quality of life changes. Some of these are pretty cool. Obviously, they're doing it to the people who have skins. Look, Shaco, got a skin, bug fix. Karthus, got a skin, bug fix. And then we have things that they probably found and like. Oh, wait, we have a gen one. Hold on. Will no longer deploy E trap instead of a passive whisper forward shot. Wow, that's a huge like kind of buff. That seems like a really bad bug. But yeah, most of these I don't give a shit. And then upcoming skins we talked about, and now they always release chromas for everything. Okay, so overall, again, I think I always am gonna say this until we get to the big mid-season patch or the preseason patch, which are the two biggest patches of the year. A lot of these patches I honestly don't expect much from, so they kind of can't go above a certain score. But this patch had like really good changes for Alistar, Karthus, Kha'Zix kind of decently, Riven okay, Sejuani okay. Like the only nerf I didn't like was like Varus's thing, and even then it was like whatever. It's kind of like wiener. But pretty lackluster patch. I would give this one like a fucking 6.5 Marc Merrills out of 10. I feel like the next patch though, if they do it right, will have like a pretty decently high rating, just because of the skins and the whole event in general. But we'll see, because that will be in 2 weeks. So 6.5 Marc Merrills out of 10. Pretty boring patch, standard shit. We're used to this, and there are the changes. So see you guys in 2 weeks.